So good morning friends. So our today's class is about molecular markers and their application in agriculture. So molecular markers. So in this class we will discuss about what is molecular marker, how molecular markers get developed, and what is their application in agriculture. So why we need to study these molecular markers? We need to understand the concept of molecular marker, how we are using their molecular marker in the crop improvement. So molecular means it may be DNA, RNA molecules, biomolecules, different biomolecules. We are using them as a marker. Marker means we have to mark something or tag something to identify them. Okay, so that is a molecular marker. So molecular markers are nothing but these are the DNA sequences, a specific DNA sequence that is present within the gene or near the gene that act as a tag to that particular gene. Okay. And these molecular markers follow the Mendelian pattern of inheritance. They follow the Mendelian pattern of inheritance. So in this regard, we will discuss on different class of molecular markers. What is the marker? So molecular markers are defined as specific DNA sequences that are present within the gene or near the gene, and they follow the Mendelian pattern of inheritance. And the markers are present in a polymorphic form. Polymorphic form means they are in a one individual they are present in a particular sequence, while other persons they have different form or different allele of that gene. So these two different forms act as a markers for that particular gene. So earlier we are using biochemical as a marker. So biochemical markers, morphological markers, and molecular markers. Biochemical markers are different class of marker like isozymes and protein binding pattern. So these biochemicals like protein, enzymes, different form of enzymes, isozymes, proteins, and protein bending pattern on the gel. The how they behave on the gel. Phase means polyacrylamide gels. How the protein, a particular protein, behave on that gel, and then what is their bending profile that is represented in a biochemical markers. So unique bending pattern for a particular trait, for a particular plant, or particular species represent that this protein act as marker, a biochemical marker for that trait. Suppose if we talk about isozymes are nothing but they are different isolate form of the enzymes. Okay, like alcohol dehydrogenase has six different form of the enzymes. Lactate dehydrogenase has six different form of isozymes. So all these forms act as a biochemical marker. Similarly, morphological marker. Morphological as morphology itself indicating morphology. Morphology means plant morphology. Means plant height. What is the plant height? What is the flower color, pod shape, pod size, seed color, seed weight? Okay, so all these morphological traits, plant height, plant morphological appearance, okay, growing habit of the plants, so all these traits act as a morphological marker. So these morphological marker can be visualized by our naked eyes. Okay, so we call them as a naked eye polymorphism because polymorphism is nothing but different form of a particular trait. We have like a polymorph. You can say polymorph. So the morphological traits we can visualize by our eyes. We can easily see by our eyes. So these morphological markers are also called a naked eye polymorphism. Similarly, molecular marker. So later on, when the molecular PCR discovery, molecular techniques has been discovered, after that these molecular techniques or molecular markers is comes into the picture. Okay, so later on this characterization of RNA, DNA, proteins leads to development of these molecular markers. Okay, these molecular markers are generally used recent advanced molecular techniques. Okay, So again, we can classify the institute based on hybridization, based on recent technique, that is PCR, polymerase chain reaction. Based on hybridization means by hybridizing a particular DNA probe DNA sequence to all the length of the DNA based on their sequence complementarity. So this is the basic principle of hybridization of these three molecular markers: RFLP, mini satellite, and microsatellite. RFLP represent restriction fragment length polymorphism. Restriction fragment length polymorphism. Restriction means the restriction fragment of the DNA. Suppose we have a lot of the genomic DNA along with us, and we have to use the restriction digestion for. And what are the different restriction fragments we got, and their polymorphism, their length polymorphism is represented RFLP. Similarly, mini satellite, microsatellite. Microsatellite also known as mini satellite is also known as VNTR, variable number of random repeats. So in the case of mini satellites means long DNA sequences, suppose the GACT. This sequence is repeated GACT 10 to 12 times, 1000 times. So the length of the DNA gets increased because of the repetitive DNA fragments, repetitive sequences. Microsatellite is in this case the microsatellite the repeat unit is small. It may be mononucleotide, dinucleotide, AA, GG, dinucleotide, two nucleotides, set of two nucleotides. It may be GGG, GCT, TC, likewise. Trinucleotide, tetranucleotide. So small repeat unit is there in microsatellite, and that is repeated 10 to 50 times more. So that unit is a complete unit is complete set, or the repetitive unit is known as microsatellite. Okay, so this mini satellite and microsatellite is very important. Mini satellite variable number of tandem repeat is very important in case of DNA profile 7 glottal. Okay, variable number of tandem repeats. Then further, as technological advancement, few more molecular marker has been developed by using the PCR. PCR, everybody is very well aware about the PCR. That is polymerase chain reactions. You know very well. This PCR technique is discovered by the Kelly Mullis, developed by the Kelly Mullis in 1983. Okay, PCR is nothing but it's a thermal cyclone. Thermal cyclone. It's a thermal cyclone. So by using this PCR, lots series of molecular marker has been developed, like SCAR marker, AFLP marker, SSR marker, STS marker, ISR marker, EST marker, RAPD marker, SCOT marker, APPCR. AP means arbitrary timed PCR, SCOT sequence codon, sequence characterizing codon type sequence, RAPD randomly amplified polymorphic DNA sequences, EST express sequence tag, ISR inter-sequence repeat, sequence tag site, simple sequence repeat, SR, AFLP, amplified fragment length polymorphism, sequence scar marker, sequence characterized artificial amplified region. These are the molecular markers developed through the PCR based on PCR. Okay. Further, the molecular marker has been classified based on the molecular cytogenetic technique, using molecular cytogenetic technique and molecular marker techniques. So, using the cytogenetic techniques, fish can extend the DNA fiber fish. Fish is fluorescent in situ hybridization. Fluorescent in situ hybridization. And the DNA fiber fish. Molecular marker techniques: RFLP, RAPD, SSR, AFLP, SCOT marker, EST marker. These are the using molecular marker techniques. So we are using all these techniques. FIS is nothing but it's a fluorescent in situ hybridization. So in this case, complete chromosome we are using at a time. Complete chromosome we are using. So here, if we have a sequence probe, and then so sequence probe is complementary to hybridize with the based sequence complementarity. Extended DNA fiber fish means in this first we have to use the interphase chromosome. Interphase means long stretch chromosome, but while in case of fish we are using metaphase chromosome, that is highly condensed chromosome we are using for fish. Okay, so nothing much. This is the best example of morphological markers. As I told you, morphological markers means which is can be visualized by our naked eyes. Okay, these are the morphological markers. You can see here flower color. leaf color, leaf shape, leaf size. Okay. So best is represent the morphological marker. Molecular markers are nothing but these are the exploitation of the genetic diversity. We have to identify, we can harass, we can exploit the genetic diversity by using all these molecular markers. So assessment of genetic diversity in a crop species is fundamental to its improvement. Whatever genetic diversity is present in a particular crop species, the whole genetic diversity must be assessed. Genetic variability that is considered to reservoir plant breeders fall upon their continuous strive to develop the improved variety and hybrids. Genetic variability that is present among the different genotypes that we have to use for the crop improvement by through the different crossing hybridization pattern. Knowledge of germplasm diversity and of relationship among the elite breeding material has a significant impact to the improvement of the crop. The germplasm diversity is providing a good, very good knowledge of relationship among elite breeding materials. This information is useful in planning process for the hybrid and line development and assigning line to heterotic group, assigning the group. Now we discuss morphological markers. As I told you, these are the related to the shape, size, color, surface of various plant parts. So in case of it may be seed, it may be flower, it may be fruit, it may be leaf, it may be plant growth habit also. Okay. So these morphological markers can be easily seen by our eyes, naked eyes. Such characters used for the varietal identification. These characters used for the varietal identification. Advantages: they are readily available. Morphological markers are readily available. Usually require only simple equipments. Form the most direct measure of phenotype. Readily available. Usually require only simple equipments. There is not much complex equipment. Form of the most direct measure of phenotype. Disadvantages: it requires expertise on the crop or species, subject to environmental influence, limited in the number, limited genomic coverage. Protein markers, or in other words, we can say it's a biochemical markers. Okay. These biochemical markers are available since 1950s. Such markers are related to the variation in the protein and amino acid. These markers are related to the variation in protein and amino acid binding protein. Gel electrophoretic studies used for the identification of biochemical markers. Gel electrophoretic studies used for the identification of biochemical markers like peroxidase, ester phosphatase, esterase. All these act as a protein molecular markers. So the gel electrophoretic studies can be easily used among the for identification of biochemical markers like peroxidase, ester phosphatase, esterase. So these protein act as a protein biochemical markers. So advantage, if we talk about the advantage of these protein markers, first advantage is requires simple equipments. There is not much complex, simple equipments. Biggest complement to the morphological assessment of the variations. Biggest complement to the morphological assessment. Disadvantage is subject to environmental influence, limited in the number. Now molecular markers. Molecular markers reflect the heritable differences in homologous DNA sequence among the individuals. They reflect heritable differences. As I told you, molecular markers are the sequence difference which are heritable according to Mendelian inheritance pattern homologous DNA sequence among the individuals. They may be due to base pair changes. Base pair changes. So these differences, sequence differences, is because of base pair changes, because of rearrangement, translocation, or inversion. Rearrangement of the DNA sequences. The rearrangement is because of either translocation or inversion. Then insertion or deletion. Insertion of a single nucleotide or deletion of a single nucleotide leads to development of insertion deletions. Then variation in the number of tandem repeat. Variation in the tandem repeat. Variation in tandem. If we talk about advantage of molecular markers, they are ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means they are present throughout the genome. Means ample amount. How much we can explore? We can explore all the molecular markers. So all these molecular markers are nowadays we are identifying a lot of molecular markers because of the sequencing data. Because we have a lot of the sequencing data. As a particular crop got sequenced, we can identify particular sequence, use them as a molecular markers. So as the sequencing data is available along with us, so we can develop a lot of molecular markers. So they are ubiquitously present throughout the genome. Stably inherited. Stably inherited means because they are present in the genetic material, because they belong to the genes, sequence, coding sequence, coding sequence, or non-coding sequence. So these are the ultimate part of the genetic material. So they are stably inherited into the next progeny. Okay. And they follow Mendelian pattern of inheritance also. Multiple allele for each markers. So here, as I told you, genes have different alleles, means different form of a genes is known as allele. So here, a particular genes can have more than one allele, more than two allele, polymorphic gene also is there. So multiple allele for each marker is also available. Maximum, we have single nucleotide can get replaced by three markers. So we have three or four. Okay. So similarly, if a particular nucleotide gets changed, instead of that, we have pyrase, purines, or pyrimidines. Multiple alleles can be generated for a particular markers. Devoid of pleiotropic effect. It will do not have pleiotropic effect. Detectable in all tissue at all stages because as they belongs to genetic material present, same genetic material present in all the tissues, all the somatic cell, gametic cells, at all stages of the plant. That is different thing that a particular stage that is expressing or not. That is a different issue. But they are present every time they are present in each and every tissue at all stages, all growing stage of the plants. So that is the one most advantages of this molecular markers. Okay, they are present throughout the genome. They present in all the tissue at all stages of the growth. The long shelf life of the DNA sample. As suppose we have isolated the DNA, we have kept for the replica for the future use, so we can keep. And the DNA samples cannot be easily degraded for a longer time. While the RNA sample is easily degraded, we cannot be stored for longer time. RNA, DNA can be stored for more time. These are the few advantages of molecular markers. So we can use them. They are stabilized ubiquitously, multiple for each markers, and they do not have environmental influence. Directly the much environmental influence is not there. But environment or genetic interaction is there, but direct influence of environment is not so much in that molecular markers. So that is another advantage of it. Now, if we talk about the conventional molecular breeding here, so we can make a compare. So to understand better understanding of the molecular markers, because we are using them as in a molecular breeding. Conventional breeding is a different from the molecular breeding. In the case of conventional breeding, generally we are using morphological markers more commonly. But in case of molecular breeding, we are using molecular DNA markers more commonly. As if we are using morphological means not a simple laboratory is required. While in case of molecular markers, we have to use sophisticated instruments, sophisticated laboratories there. is needed. If we talk about effect of environment, as I told you right now, molecular markers do not influence much by the environment. While the morphological marker, morphological trait, definitely they have high effect of environment on the conventional marker. There is no effect of environment on the markers. Accuracy of method, we talk about the accuracy of method, medium to high, very high. Time required to develop the new varieties. It's require very conventional breeding require very long time, while molecular breeding require very short time, 3 to 5 years. Because it reduces the so many of breeding cycles of the particular crop. Cost involved low to medium as high sophisticated instrument required in case of molecular breeding, so cost is going to be very high. Health agent only mutational breeding. The technique involved radioactive labeling like that. The effect of gene interactions is very high in case of conventional breeding, while in case of molecular breeding, no effect. Mapping of QTL is not possible. In this case, possible by using the molecular markers. Screening of seedling stage for economic trait. Yes, not possible. Now, hybridization based or non-PCR based techniques of molecular marker, that is RFLP. RFLP restriction, RFLP stands for restriction fragment length polymorphism. That was first identified by the Botch team in a virus electron pneumonia. So if we talk about the RFLP, RFLP is nothing but these are the genetic markers resulting from the variations of changes in the length of defined DNA fragment that is produced by the digestion of DNA sample. So we suppose we have a DNA strand here, A, B, C, D, they are different genes. In red sign, you can see the restriction sites. If we are using particular restriction enzyme, if it produce the cut, it will produce different length fragments. Okay, so the polymorphism generated by the DNA fragment length is represented by the RFLP. So genetic marker, RFLP is a genetic marker that resulting from the variations or changes in the length of defined DNA fragments, which is produced by digestion of the DNA sample with restriction of DNA. The electrophoretic comparison of the size of defined restriction fragments that are from the genomic DNA. So how we can identify these restriction fragment, electrophoretic fragments? First, we have to isolate high quality of the DNA from the source organism, the source plant cell. To digest with a combination of restriction enzymes. We can use individual or combination of restriction enzymes. Okay. Then fractionate digestion sample by the electrophoresis. We have to run all these restriction fragments on the electrophoresis of the Zagreb cells. Then transfer the fragments to the membrane. We can transfer these fragments to the membrane. Hybridize with radioactively labeled DNA probe. Hybridize with radioactively labeled DNA probe and detect through photoradiography. Can also use non-radioactive labeling. So this is the representation of the RFLP. Here you can see agrogels, which is transferred to the nylon member through this Shutterbox Susan blotting methods. So later on, there photoradiography there on the film you can generate you can see clearly Susan blotting method. Detection of a specific DNA fragments from genomic DNA of an organism. So if we are studying DNA on the gel, that is known as southern blot. Because based on the name given by the E.D. Southern, that is the scientist E.D. Southern. If we are studying RNA on the gel, that is northern blotting, that is reverse to the DNA, so northern level. If we are transferring protein from the gel, okay, that is western blotting using antibody instead of different antibody. This is RFLP analysis polymorphism revealed by different probe enzyme combination of 30 different axes. This is the RFLP bending pattern look like. If we are considering the use of RFLP for the relatively slow process, takes time, slow process. Use of radioactive isotopes has limited RFLP that is used to certify the laboratories. But non-radioactive labeling systems are allowed by the UG. It's a codominant marker of a species specific that need high quality of DNA Need to develop polymorphic probe also. It is somewhat expensive. If we talk about the application of this RFLP, it is at a specific level or a more closely related texture. Closely related texture. Presence and absence of fragment that is resulting from change in the recognition site that are used for identification, identifying the population, estimating the genetic distances and fingerprinting, estimation of genetic distances and fingerprinting, forensic biological percentage paternity cases. We are using this disease status genetic mapping, PCR based technique, RPD, ISR, SR, FLPST, Scott models. So basically, PCR, as I told you, PCR polymerase chain reactions that was developed by the Kerry Mullis in 1983 that bring molecular marker analysis to a new level. So the basic principle of molecular marker is nothing but it's a thermocycler. Okay, thermocycler. So the main objective of PCR is to amplify a particular DNA sequence into a multiple copy, number of copies. Basically is amplify the DNA sequences to the power n. N is the number of cycle, how much cycle we are. So it will produce a particular from one cycle it will produce two to the power n. One cycle to power means one to two, two to four, four to eight, eight to 16 like that, to the power n cycle. Okay. Now RAPD. Randomly amplified polymorphic DNA. RAPD. RAPD are the genetic markers which resulting from the PCR amplification of genomic DNA sequences that is recognized by the 10 nucleotide number, 10 MERS random primers. That is important. So in case of RAPD, RAPD stands for random amplified polymorphic DNA. Randomly we are amplifying. We do not have any fixed sequence. So randomly we have to design the primer. That primer act as a forward reverse primer, same primer as a arbitrary nucleotide sequence. Okay. So these primer will act, same primer will act as a forward and reverse. It will randomly amplify the sequence. So RAPD are the dominant markers that require no prior knowledge of the any DNA sequences, which make them very suitable for the investigation of the species that are not well known. So in this case, we are designing arbitrary nucleotide primer. Arbitrary means without knowing the sequences, just randomly we have to design ATGC, GCTC for the 10 nucleotides. Okay. So luck by chance, these nucleotides we get bind, get complementary binding, having complementary binding. With that, so you can see here in the picture, A, B, here it is binding, it will get amplified. Here if you similarly here. So randomly it will bind to different locations in the genome and it will give you a different fragments. That is the basic the principle behind this RFPD, randomly amplification. Then we look for the polymorphism. So this is the RFPD profile it looks like. You can see. If random amplification is there, it will give you the random fragments. Now enter simple sequence repeat ISR. The generation of ISR markers involve PCR amplification of DNA, PCR amplification, using a single primer that composed of microsatellite repeat sequence and in some case primer also contains 1 to 4 base anchor at either 3' or 5' or 4', which target a subset of the simple sequence repeats and amplify the region between two closely spaced or positively oriented SSR. So here the PCR amplification of DNA using a primer which have microsatellite repeated. So in this case, primer having the repeated unit. So at both sides, if we have repeated a unit, it will amplify the between it will amplify the region that is present between the repeated unit. Okay. Inter simple sequence repeat means both side simple sequence repeat sequence are there between inter. ISSR technique permits the detection of polymorphism in microsatellite and intermicrosatellite loci without previous knowledge of the DNA sequence. This is the diagrammatic representation. Now simple sequence repeat. Our DNA sequence will repeat length of few base pairs. Variation in the number of repeats can be detected with the PCR by developing primer for the conserved DNA sequences. flanking the SSR. This flank the SSR. As molecular markers, SR combine many desirable markers properties, which include high level of polymorphism and information content, which unambiguously designation of alleles, even dispersal, selective neutrality, high reproducibility, codominance, and rapid and simple genotypication. Microsatellite have become the molecular marker of choice for genotype application. Application in genetic mapping and genome, genotype identification, varietal protections, varietal identification, seed purity evaluations, and germplasm conservation. Diversity studies, paternity determinations, pedigree analysis, gene and quantitative trait locus analysis, marker state predict. All these are the application of microsatellite simple sequence repeats. So advantages. They require very little or not necessarily high quality data, highly polymorphic, evenly distributed throughout the genome, simple interpretation of the result, easily automated line multiplex, good analytical resolution, high reproducibility, codominant marker for new halogens. Codominant marker. These are the codominant markers. Then you can say it's new halogens. These are the advantages. Because they require very little or not necessarily high quality DNA. Because we are using molecular technology like PCR. PCR does not require high quality of the DNA. It can amplify primary complementary binding is there. It can amplify. So quality doesn't matter in case of PCR. Highly polymorphic, they are polymorphic, highly polymorphic you can say because they are repeat unit. Variation is because of repeating unit. If variation is repeat 6 times, 7 times, 8 times, so repeat unit determine the polymorphy of this marker. Evenly distributed throughout the genome, as you know, because the repeat unit of a particular are present throughout the genome. Simple interpretation, easily automated, learning multiplex. So this is the representation of figure representation of the cell molecular markers. So applications of the individual genotyping. Genotyping can be done by using this application. Parentage identification, parental identification, genetic diversity explorations, population genetic diet studies, population genetic studies, genome mapping, evolutionary studies, or hybridization. So can be identified by using this SR markers. Genome mapping can be done. Genome mapping can be done by genetic diversity, population genetic study also. Parentage identification, communicase identification can be used. Next is AFLP, amplified fragment length polymorphism. So amplified fragment length polymorphism here it's a combination of two techniques, as PCR and RFLP. PCR polymerase chain reaction and RFLP restriction fragment length polymorphism. Here we have to amplify the restriction fragment of the DNA. Then we can able to develop AFLP, amplified fragment length polymorphism. Then we study the polymorphism. The informative fingerprints of amplified fragments are very important. So this leads to development of AFLP. So the AFLP technology is a DNA fingerprinting technique that combines RFLP and PCR. It combines these two technologies. It is based on the selective amplification of subset of the genome with restriction fragment using PCR. Using PCR. AFLP process protocol of AFLP, we have to digest the genomic DNA with restriction endonuclease. They ligate the commercial adapters, different sequence at the both end. Here is the figure you can see clearly. I think it's clearly visible. This is the genetic material, your DNA which we can digest by restriction enzyme. Here we can ligate the adapters. Carry out the PCR on the adapter ligated mixture using primer that targets the adapters, but they have very basic primer. So in this case, they carry out the PCR by using the primers that is complementary to the ligate sequence or adapter sequences. This is the AFLP profiling. So this is very sensitive, AFL very sensitive, good reproducibility, but technically demanding. Relatively expensive technology because as PCR involved, only the technology involved. Discriminating homozygotes from the heterozygotes. You can easily discriminate the help of this AFLP. Require band quantitation, comparison of pixel density and all. Because it produces large number of the bands. So quantitation of the band is very important. How we can quantify the band quantitation. Bands are anonymous. Suppose large number of bands we are generating with the so they are anonymously. So to identify a particular band for significant band from the pool of the bands is very important. Now applications. Monitoring inheritance of agronomic trait, diagnostic of genetically inherited disease, pedigree analysis, forensic typing, identification of different hybrids, species level relationships, also in some cases at high level of relationships. Code. Start code on target marker. Start code on target. Start code on target marker polymorphism analysis. SCORT is a novel method for generating plant DNA marker. Start codon. So as name self start codon means we have to look for polymorphism near the sequence of initiation codon. SCORT is a novel method for generating plant DNA. This method was developed based on the short conserved region which flanking the ATG start codon of plant. Based on the short conserved region that is flank the ATG start codon. Okay, the G. Scott uses single 18-mer primer. This used 18-mer primer is for PCR and an annealing temperature of 50 degrees Celsius. PCR applicable are resolved using standard electrophores. This method was validated in rice using genetic diversity set of the genotyping background operations. Here you can see Scott primer, the genes it will appear development like this. Present absent, so it is a dominant marker. So here it's a representative of the different spot markers which are developed along with their sequences. So this is the spot profile of the two different parental genotypes that we will do. Expressed sequence type EST. EST are the single pass sequencing read from randomly selected cDNA clones. Single pass cDNA sequencing reads they are randomly derived from the cDNA clone. EST are developed from the cDNA. And cDNA are developed from the mRNA. So directly you can say express sequence type represented a transcriptome profile of the and they are expressed parts as name itself expressed portion of the genome ESTs. Okay. It's identified through the CDN. So how we can identify for the EST CDN library? We can scan for the scanning or screening the CDN libraries which contain many of the expressed genome. Pick the CDNA clone randomly. You can pick up the CDNA clones randomly. Rapidly determine some of the sequence of nucleotide from the end of each clones. These EST could then be compared to all known sequences using a program called BLAST. An exact match to a sequence gene means that gene encoding the EST is already known. If the match was close but not exact one, we could conclude that EST is derived from a gene with a function similar to that of gene. Then the EST sequence with their repetitive identification and approach in a gene bank and clone from various derived are kept in feature for languages. The overview of EST sequencing process. The clones are picked from the factory uses into microdata templates and achieved for later uses. All subsequent manipulations of PCR cleaner sequencing are carried out in microdata templates to yield medium throughput. This is the generalized outline of the EST sequencing protocols. So here are overall summary of these molecular markers with their comparisons, RFLP. RFLP, PCR, RFLP, RFID map. So detection method for RFLP is hybridization, PCR generally used, DFQ hybridization, RFID PCR, microsatellite RF PCR. Type of proven primer, genomic DNA. RFLP are using serum DNA, CDN sequence. Sequence specific primers, mini satellite. Case of RFID we are using arbitrary design primer. Sequence specific primers. Requirement of radioactivity is not required. It is required also for, but in few cases not required. Extent of genomic coverage is limited in RFLP and PCR, while in case of others it is extension. So data analysis of SLPSR can be done with scoring of the different bands like 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. What is present 1, absent 0. So likewise we can go for the scoring and we can analyze all these data. Similarity. So simple matching coefficient by measuring the proportion of shared band presence. Jakarta coefficient also proportion of shared band. Knee and Lee coefficient also by the probability of a band being amplified in one sample being unamplified in another samples. Okay, so major problem is false positive result is given RFID because it's a PCR based you can get false positive result also sometimes. So that is it. Whereas genetic similarity matrix is calculated with Jakarta coefficient based on molecular markers here, likewise get it. So there a lot of DNA marker application is there, fingerprinting. So DNA fingerprinting is generally used with help of RFLP, and by fingerprinting we can get the DNA profiling of different varieties, parental cases, different criminal cases. So fingerprinting helps give a DNA complete profiling of a particular variety also. DNA fingerprinting is markers are useful. Diversity studies. So markers are very useful in the diversity. We are using different germ plasm or different diversity that is present in different germ plasm. So for that we can use the molecular markers extensively. We can use these markers. This is. Then marker assisted selection. Obviously, marker assisted selection is based on totally molecular marker. As selection of a particular trait based on the molecular marker done by the help of molecular markers. Genetic mapping is also done with the help of molecular markers. Gene tagging. So tagging a particular gene is very useful whenever we are isolating a gene from a cell. Novel allele detections or exploitation of bio. There is another term bioprospecting. In case of bioprospecting or novel allele identifications, markers are utilized. Map-based gene cloning is a method of gene isolation. Map-based gene cloning. If we know the genetic map, linkage map of a particular crop, so a gene can be easily cloned or identified. F1 identification or for hybrid identification, you can say F1 or hybrid identification can be done with help of well-characterized molecular markers. Then comparative mapping. Comparative mapping means suppose we are comparing the genome of two different species. So we can develop a comparative map that we can compare the different molecular markers by using molecular markers. We can prepare the genetic map for the two different species with different bulk segregation analysis, seed testing also. So this is the vast application of the molecular markers. So this is all about the introductory lecture about the DNA and molecular markers. Thank you.